Rev your engines. It's Magic Drive Time. This is the destination for all the latest news about your Orlando Magic.
Here comes Mo Harkless. Look out. Red Storm rising right to the top. He'll dunk it down. Nick Vucevic, he'll climb high and pack it down hard. Tobias Harris working Daniels. Pull up 4-3 at the ball. Oh, got it to go with a foul.
Throughout this silver season, you'll hear from Rob Hennigan, Jacques Vaughn, Magic players past and present, and a host of Magic analysts. Now, let's get this show on the road.
And welcome, everyone, to Magic Drive Time. Dante Marchitelli here with you on this Thursday night. The Magic back from a quick two-game road trip. Dropped a couple of close games, one to the Indiana Pacers on opening night, and then last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves. It is the home opener tomorrow here at the Amway Center against the New Orleans Pelicans, and it should be a special night in that building at Amway Center. 7 o'clock tip tomorrow night. It is also Legends Night in part of Orlando's 25th anniversary. They'll be honoring a number of former Magic players, and this one might be my favorite. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was my favorite to cover, certainly, and definitely to watch in his time here in Orlando. And kind enough to join me now is Tracy McGrady, part of our Silver Season Spotlight, brought to you by Marriott Vacation Club. And T-Mac, always great to catch up with you. How are you, sir?
You're far too kind, Terry. You're far too kind. What's going on?
I'm doing well, man. Hey, I had to do a double take. I looked down at this sheet and saw that you're 34 years old. That doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, considering that I came in 18, seems like I've been around a long time, which I have. But 16 years is a long time, man.
Absolutely.
A lot of wear and tear on that body.
People don't realize that. Came in, like you said, at 18 years, 18 years old, played 16 years in this league. I got to ask you right out of the gates, you announced your retirement back in August. How's retirement treating you right now, Tracy?
I'm so content with my decision. I have no regrets, not looking back. And, I feel good to wake up this time of year on my own schedule, don't have to report to training camp, with all the practice and all that preparation that it takes to get for a rigorous NBA season, just to watch my kids grow up now and be home with them and see my boys on the weekend play in a little league basketball game. So, I'm enjoying life. I'm really, just happy and in a good place right now.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. You touched on it a little bit. What does the future hold for you? I know you have fun spending time with family. Do you have other plans outside of that? Where do you see yourself here down the road?
Well, I may do a little broadcasting here and there.
There you go. That's what I was hoping to hear. There you go.
Obviously, I consider myself as a businessman. I love conducting business on the side, and but yeah, fun stuff. I may get into the broadcasting thing. So we never know. But right now, I'm just enjoying this time that I haven't really had since I was 17 years old. So I'm just really enjoying this right now.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking with former Magic player Tracy McGrady, he will be honored in the arena tomorrow night, part of Orlando Magic's Legends Night, celebrating our 25th anniversary. And Tracy, tomorrow night, how special of a moment will that be for you to get recognized by the fans? It's 4 incredible years that you had here with the Orlando Magic. Being a local guy, having grown up in nearby Auburndale, I know tomorrow night will be a special night for you.
Yeah, it's going to be special in so many ways. My kids are fairly young and, really didn't get an opportunity to see me play when I was with the Magic. And, to have them there and witness, being celebrated and appreciated for what I did for the organization for those 4 years. And just to have the Magic have me being honored on their opening night is just, an honor in itself. And, I'm just so appreciative of that. I appreciate the fans. I mean, I can't even tell you, the just thinking back and, hearing those MVP chants in the Waterhouse, just send chills up my body. And, it's going to be, an emotional night. I'm not an emotional person, but, I may be, emotional that night, considering that, those memories that I had there with those fans and the organization, and having my kids there witness that, it's going to be something special.
Yeah, no question. I loved the MVP chants. I didn't like them when you were on the free throw line at the end of a game. I didn't. Did that ever mess with you? Did you hear the?
Tell you, I was so locked in then.
Yeah.
I was just really locked in, and that actually motivated me. I mean, that gave me that extra motivation out there, so it didn't bother me as much. But I just remember, man, just being there and Darryl Armstrong and, us just bringing that type of energy on that basketball court, those fans appreciating that, the fat guy running down the steps with his shirt off, and the big belly. I remember all that stuff, man. It's just, you can never forget those memories.
Yeah, well, that image will be burned in your mind forever. There's no question about that. maybe not for the right reasons, but there was a special connection, Tracy, between you and the fans. That was a special time. We never knew what you were going to do on any given night. It was a fun thing to see. Fans came out, they supported you guys, they got behind those teams, and that was a really special time, wasn't it?
It was a great time. The slogan that we lived by was heart and hustle, and that's what we portrayed on that basketball court. And to have our fans get behind us was just motivation for us each night. And my job was just to go out there and I love entertaining, and I just tried to be entertaining and bring something new and excite some excitement to the game of basketball and excite our fans. And they paid good money to come see us play.
Yeah.
So I wanted to excite them, and hopefully I did that the 4 years that I was there. And, I know we didn't accomplish what we set out to accomplish because we were shorthanded without having Grant on the court with us. But I tell you, man, for me to come there when I was 19, 20 years old, I grew a lot, and I grew, over those 4 years and matured on and off the basketball court. And those guys, the fans and everybody witnessed that with their own eyes, and it was just a pleasure to share that with them.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to watch. Speaking with Tracy McGrady, he'll be honored tomorrow night at the home opener, part of Orlando Magic's Legends Night, a deserving honor. And take us back to the summer of 2000. You had played a couple years in Toronto. You had a lot of teams coming after you. I think one in particular, I think you went on a visit with Chicago, I seem to remember. How difficult was your decision to come to Orlando, to come back home? Might not have been difficult at all. And what were some of the deciding factors? Why did you choose the Magic?
It wasn't difficult at all. First of all, I was a huge fan of Doc Rivers. I really appreciated what he did with the team that he had his first year.
Yeah.
And it, being close to my hometown. I mean, that in itself is just like, it was tough for any other team to really recruit me, because I grew up, 30 miles down the street and grew up watching Penny and Shaq and Nick and Dennis Scott and those guys. And, it was just a no-brainer for me to go back home and play in front of friends and family.
T-Mac, you mentioned Grant. Think about that summer he came here with you. It's got to be hard to not think about what could have been had he been healthy. You two guys playing together. I know I read somewhere that you said that team could have, or Doc said that team could have won a championship. I know you feel that way as well. Do you think about that? What could have been had he been healthy out there with you?
Well, I think about it all the time because that's really my whole career is really predicated on what if. I mean, what if I would have probably stayed in Toronto with the team that they had there, and coming to Orlando, I was very excited to team up with Grant Hill because he was one of the players that I really idolized and appreciated what he brought to the game of basketball, just being an all-around player, and I considered myself as that type of player. But, so I was excited, and, when things didn't work out, man, it was just devastating. But, looking back, if Grant was healthy and we had our team with Mike Miller and the Darryl Armstrongs and, the blue-collar guys, there's no doubt we could have contended for a championship.
You brought those guys to another level, Tracy. Those guys were good players. They served a good role. They've had great NBA careers. Darryl Armstrong, Pat Garrity, Mike Miller, a lot of those guys that played with you. But you got them to another level when they were out there on the court with you. I know it wasn't another superstar per se out there on the court with you. You never really had that opportunity here in Orlando. But how about the effort that those guys gave you night in and night out? You got the best out of those guys that you could.
Oh, yeah, that camaraderie that we formed on the basketball court. And, me and Darryl Armstrong formed a brotherhood over the time that we played it was just, you just couldn't separate us. And I appreciated what, those guys, Bo Outlaw, Monty Williams, Pat Garrity, and even Jock Vaughn. I mean, playing with those guys, man, just really it had to elevate my play even to a higher level because I knew what they were going to bring to the table every night. They probably didn't make every shot that I passed to them, but I tell you what, if there was a ball on that floor, they were diving to get it. All the hustle plays. I mean, they gave me everything that they had in the tank, and I appreciated that. I probably never got the opportunity to tell them this, but I really appreciate what they did for me on the basketball court. They allowed me to excel to a player that was a 7-time All-Star and recognized globally. And if it wasn't for those guys, to allow me to have the opportunity, I mean, I wouldn't be the player that I became. So, thank you to those guys, Jock, Darryl, and Pat Garrity, Mike Doliat, all those players that I played with there that gave Bo Outlaw, that allowed me to excel to at a perennial all-star in this league.
Yeah, that's a great point. Very well said, and I know they would appreciate that. There's no question. Speaking with Tracy McGrady, going to be honored on opening night tomorrow night as part of our Legends Night. All right, two-time you were a scoring champion here with the Orlando Magic. 1 year, 28 points a game. I know you've heard it been said that you made it look so damn easy at times when you were out there. But I know 28 points a game at this league is not easy whatsoever. You worked incredibly hard. But when you got in a zone like that, Tracy, did it feel easy at times?
I wouldn't say it felt easy. I just was so confident at that time that I just felt like, I couldn't be stopped. Because I worked so hard in the off season to prepare myself, for the upcoming seasons, and I don't think I got a lot of credit for that. Everybody saying I was lazy, I didn't work hard. Well, damn, I mean, how can you average 32 points in the right. NBA season without working hard? So, I bust my ass to get ready to play at that type of level. It wasn't easy. It was a grind because I had guys gunning for me every night. But when I got in that zone, it just felt like nobody could they were just at my mercy.
Yeah, and one of those nights, you got to go back to March 10th, 2004. I know you remember that well. 62 points. I mean, that was an incredible night. I know that was a special one to you. And here, take a listen. See if this brings back memories. Tracy.
McGrady will drive to the rack, lays it up, and in. He got it to go. How did he do that? He went from right to left and threw it over his shoulder and threw.
There were a lot of times we heard, how did he do that? There were a lot of times we heard that. Take us back to that night.
Oh, man. That was just an amazing night, man. And, it was one of those nights where I was actually in the zone, the whole game. And the great thing about that night is I actually got to play all 4 quarters when I was extremely hot.
Right.
I can remember, the Chicago game where I had like 52 in 3 quarters, and I couldn't play in the 4th quarter because it was a blowout. But this game, I was able to play the full game, and I couldn't let Gilbert Arenas outdo me because he was hot as well. He was outscoring me that night, and I was like, oh hell no, this is my court. I got to get in this zone and. It was just I couldn't miss. I felt like everything that I threw up was going to go in, and those guys just at my mercy. And after that game, I wasn't as happy as I should have been because I missed 9 freaking free throws.
I do. You do remember that, don't you? Isn't that something?
It's a bittersweet moment, but no, what a remarkable night that was. Just the energy that was in that building was fantastic.
When you had it going on a night like that, let's say that night, you mentioned Gilbert Arenas. Are guys talking to you? It's a competitive league. I know there was a lot of trash talking going on out there. Would guys talk to you or do things to try to get you out of your comfort zone, out of your rhythm a little bit?
No. That would have been stupid. Because,
motivation.
Yeah, that would have been stupid because a 50-point night would have turned into a 70-point night in that case. So the smart thing to do is just keep your mouth shut and just try to get through that night without saying anything. But no.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, Tracy, before I let you go, I got to ask you about Allen Iverson announced his retirement yesterday, and you gave us one of my favorite quotes of all time when the first time you were going up against Allen Iverson here in Orlando. You said it was like chasing cats. I thought that was the best analogy. I've used that a couple of times. Talk about Allen Iverson, some of the battles you had with him and what kind of player, kind of career he had.
Yeah, I mean, AI, man, the smallest, the by far, pound for pound, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, electrifying scorer, just the heart and the energy. Picture, the energy that Darrell Armstrong brings every night.
Yep.
That's what Allen Iverson was, but, with the skills, the physical ability to do that night in and night out. I mean, this dude had a heart of a freaking lion and, fast as ever, just relentless and fearless on the basketball court, didn't care how big, how strong you were. He was going to challenge you. And that's what I respected about AI. And, he became a good friend of mine. And, it was a honor to go up against such great talent, to play against that kid, man. And, I can remember one night we were in Philly
Yeah.
and we were playing against them and AI was going off and I had to switch off on him and guard him for, the remainder of the game. And he torched us that night. I tried to slow him down a little bit, but he was already hot and I couldn't do anything with him. But when I was in the shower after the game, I probably sat in the shower for about an hour just soaking my head and my body and under the freaking shower, just like, man, damn, I'm exhausted. I was so tired. I was the last one out of the locker room, out of the shower. I had my work cut out for me that night, but that's what he did, man. He didn't care how great you were, and he was just a hell of a competitor, and I appreciate it, and it was an honor to play against him.
Well, that's great stuff. Hey, Tracy, always great catching up with you. You were so gracious to us, your time here in Orlando, and even when you came back with Houston and other teams, and a well-deserved honor tomorrow night. I can't think of a better way to kick off our home opener than you getting that honor. Fans will be great. They'll be excited to see you there. And thanks again for everything you did here for us. And we look forward to tomorrow night. It's going to be a special night, Tracy.
Hey, thank you, Terry, man, and thank you for everything you've done for me over the years. I appreciate everything.
Hey, my pleasure, man. It was a blast, and we look forward to tomorrow night, all right?
Yes, sir. See you tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much. Tracy McGrady, class act, always so gracious to us, and there were a lot of times when it would be easy for him, a tough loss or a tough game or a tough stretch, to not want to talk to us, to kind of hide somewhere. He always faced us. He always wanted to talk, and it was he was always kind to us, always spoke with us, and we always appreciated that. And that's just off the court. On the court, what he gave us night in and night out. This guy, he brought it every single night. This guy wanted to win every single night, and you never knew what you were going to see out of Tracy McGrady. It was something special, and it was an absolute blast to watch for 4 years here in Orlando. A well-deserved honor, and folks, you got to get out there tomorrow night. The Magic and the Pelicans, you're definitely going to want to see this. And cheer Tracy McGrady, as I know you will, loudly. Be excited about it. Embrace what he did for 4 years here in Orlando. It'll be a special night tomorrow. If you can't be there tomorrow night, tune in during the radio broadcast on the Magic Radio Network. I will have Tracy again at halftime tomorrow. He'll also be joining the telecast during the pregame show on Fox Sports Florida and sitting in with David Steele and Jeff Turner during the second quarter tomorrow as well. When we come back, our chat with Pat. He's got a special story. We're playing the New Orleans Pelicans tomorrow, and Pat Williams was the general manager that traded Pistol Pete Maravich to New Orleans. You're not going to want to miss that chat. Back in a moment here on Magic Drive Time, 740 The Game.